Hello guys, how's it going? Mo here. It's the first episode of this podcast. I've been waiting to do something like this before, and I finally get the chance to do so. We're going to talk about some real world events, some things that have been going on, and basically just commentate on everything and give our thoughts and opinions. I try to have a little bit of debate here. So let's get started. Come on, let's go. A lot of things have been going on, folks. I mean, a lot of things. And honestly, I think the craziest thing that's happened so far, if I'm being honest with you, is the Socialist winning a mayoral election in the capitalistic state of the world. I mean, that for me has been the craziest thing. I have not gotten over the fact that Zoran Mamdani won at a mayoral election. And I don't know how to feel about that, honestly. I don't know how to feel about a democratic socialist winning in a capitalistic city. I don't know. But as great as New York seems to be, it has been quite of a shithole, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, the homelessness is horrible. I live in California, Los Angeles. The homelessness is horrible here, but I couldn't imagine in New York, especially with rats. Oh my God, rats. I would not be able to deal with rats, bro. But the fact is, he won. And he won, in my notes here, he got 50.4% of the vote. That means half of New York wanted him. And of course, Cuomo and Sliwa were the runner-ups. Cuomo was second, Sliwa was third, the Republican candidate, and then the independent Cuomo he's really a Democrat. But I guess he's independent now. They kind of casted him out. So they casted him out, and now he's an independent. And he ran against Zoran in the primaries, and then he lost in the primaries. He dropped out, and then afterwards he was like, nope, you know what, I'm running as independent against him. And then Trump endorsed him, other people endorsed him, and he had a bunch of billionaires backing him up, and he still lost to Zoran, which is in a way interesting, because if I'm not mistaken, Zoran had a lot less money in his campaign than Cuomo did. But Zoran did have a nice campaign strategy. He was more of like a childish, like Gen Z type of person, you know what I mean? He'd make those videos where he's like the side of New York, and it'd be like fast cuts, which I thought was pretty cool. I never saw like a candidate do that before. Like just fast cuts. Like it's like a very influencer style. I mean, he's very young. I think he's like 34 or something. Is he 34? I think he's 34. Let me see here. Zoran Mamdani. His age, he's 34 years old. I got it right on the dot. So people liked him. People liked Zoran. They think he's a change. He promised free buses. He promised free child health care, if I'm not mistaken. He promised affordable housing. He was going to freeze the rent. And he promised basically grocery stores, government-run grocery stores, which from my understanding, what that means is the government owns the grocery stores, and then people come in and they set the prices, like the government sets the prices. And a lot of people have been asking, like, how is he actually going to get the money? And, of course, he's proposed, like, a proposition where he's going to tax the people that are making over $1 million 2%, which, I mean, it's New York City. I don't know how you're going to do that. The tax is already high as hell, but hopefully he has a good strategy to it. I think New York needs better. I think if he goes good on his promises and it doesn't have some crazy side effects, then I think that's a good thing. Because what the problem is how is he going to be able to fund all these different projects? How is he going to be able to fund free buses? How is he going to be able to fund all these different, especially taxing the rich? I mean, he talks about taxing the rich. How are you going to tax the rich when they have businesses that and they're basically making no money? I mean, all their assets are into their businesses, and you can't really tax their business because there's laws that apply with businesses that you can write off, and apparently the CEO is making like $1 a year. So how are you actually going to tax? I mean, you want to tax that dollar? You get 20 cents off of it. They're probably taxing the hell out of those dollars. But how are you going to actually be able to come up with a strategy, be able to fund all of the free stuff that you're talking about, and then being able to make New York, I mean, I don't want to say great again, but great. And as of recently, he just went to a trip to meet with Donald Trump. And, I thought that was actually going to be a bloodbath because obviously Trump was calling him a communist, he's calling him some crazy things. And of course, Zoran was calling him a fascist. And Zoran actually asked for the meeting. He was actually the one to initiate the meeting and say, Donald Trump, we have to meet. And I think that's very good. I think you should have some some talks and meetings with the president, no matter who you are and no matter what party you're in. Because at the end of the day, the whole party system, in my opinion, is stupid. And honestly, I don't think the founding fathers even wanted the party systems. It should be independent. People should talk about ideas, because a lot of people are only loyal to their party, only loyal to their ideology. And that's the only thing completely. And that kind of ruins the idea of politics, because I'm not necessarily voting for a person anymore. I'm voting for a party. And both parties in America, in my opinion, are horrible. They're so divisive. They're completely divisive. I mean, we're talking about the Republicans and the Democrats going at each other every single day, and the majority of people are in the middle. The majority of people aren't Republican. The majority of people aren't Democrats. That's why when they have elections, they're not necessarily seeking out the opposite side of the party. They're seeking out the middle group, because the middle makes a difference. Because there's people that are not necessarily so associated with one party. And I feel like that's the problem in America, is where we have these right wing and left wing, and it's extremism. It's complete extremism. And a lot of people in America, if you were to bring them together, we would agree on most things. But see, that's not what they want you to do. They don't want you to agree on the same things. They want the divisiveness. They want you to keep fighting with each other left and right. Because it makes us poor, and at the end of the day, it makes the country worse. This country is going to crap just because of that. And this country is an amazing country. America is a great country. But it's the people, it's the little percentage of extremists that ruin the country. That's what happens. So now that Mamdani went over to meet with Donald Trump, does he actually, what is that meeting for? Does he actually need Donald Trump to initiate all of his plans and be able to proceed with his plans? From what I've seen so far, New York only takes $7 billion of the federal budget, which is about 6%, 4% of the statistic. I think it was 4 or 6% of all their budget and all their income. So it's you don't really need Donald Trump to do a lot of things that you need to do. It's New York. New York brings in more money. They're not necessarily subsidized as much as other states are. It's New York City. So with them, they don't necessarily need Donald Trump to help them out with federal funding. They can help themselves. But of course, you want to go meet with the president. You want to go talk to him about some things. You want to try to get also a little bit of that federal budget, because it does help. It does help having the president's support. And from what I've seen so far, when the president and Zoran Mamdani met up in the White House, they seemed very, you can sense some tension there. I don't care what anyone says. But it seemed very good. It was a very good, productive meeting. And if Zoran Mamdani's policies were to work in New York and were to actually help New York, then what are we waiting on? Why can't the whole entire American system be built off of that? Because you're talking about the most capitalistic state in the world being socialist. I feel like a lot of problems, everyone always focuses on the rich and how we're not taxing the rich enough. I understand why people might think that, and I kind of do agree with them. Of course they should be taxed more. But there has to be a certain point where we agree that the money that's being spent in this country is not well. The money that we spend on the country, how we have the number one military, and listen, I'm all for pro-military, but the rest of the allies, the rest of the list after us being number one are basically all of our allies. So I'm all for a strong military, but there's also a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. You should be able to take the tax dollars and spend it on something actually useful. Like free healthcare, for example. Like the roads. Oh my God, the roads. Guys, the roads here suck. How do we not have a metro? How do we have potholes everywhere that we go? Especially here in LA. It's too much. Everywhere you go, your tires are being worn out. I'm surprised my car hasn't freaking exploded already with all these different problems on the streets. The homelessness issue, it's too much. It's way too much. And the government's supposed to be taking care of that. But they're not. Instead, the money goes to this, or it goes to that, or it goes to that. And then we have a federal budget that's so high, and then we're at $36 trillion in debt. When Doge came, I was super excited. I was like, okay, perfect. Let's try to cut down on the budget. And then, of course, it completely failed on its head. The only person that I thought they might actually have a chance at cutting the government didn't cut the government. Elon Musk, by the way. So now, what are we, like, we're just stuck because we have to trust the government to do what's right. And Trump has brought in all these crazy, crazy investments into the country, but where is the money? Where is the trillions of dollars that Trump has brought into the country? I'm curious. I was like, when it first came out, Trump brought this money, Trump brought this money, he brought this from Saudi, he brought this from here. Where is the money? The economy is still starving. The economy is still starving. And then they proposed a bill, well, an idea. It's not even really a bill yet, which is the 50-year mortgage. Now, it has its goods and it has its downs. A 50-year mortgage basically will have more people available and approved to get a house, which is a good thing. We need more houses. And the problem is we're not building enough houses because there's not enough demand for houses because everyone's waiting on the interest rates to go down. That's a problem. That's 100% a problem. The interest rates need to go down. Once they go down, it's like a chain effect. Interest rates go down, people buy more houses, then there's a demand for more houses to be built, and then more houses are being built, more people coming into the country. And I don't care what anyone says, more people coming into this country is a very good thing. We cannot compete with China. We cannot compete with India when we have 350 million people, when they have 1 billion. It's a different, we need to have more people in the country. Firstly, that's for the government, that's more tax dollars. Now, I'm not advocating for illegal immigration, just hopping on the border, but I am advocating for immigrants to come to the country. The whole system is messed up completely on its head. The whole system is messed up. The fact that it's hard as hell to get into the country legally, and it takes you 20 years to maybe get your green card and your citizenship is too much. Especially when this country should be inspiring immigrants. I mean, the most successful people in this country are immigrants. So you need more immigrants inside of the country. You absolutely do. And the idea is once you have more people coming into the country, that's more businesses, that's more employees, that's more work inside of the country. Instead of just not welcoming anyone in and being an isolationist country, you need to have more people come in so that when you build these houses, there is more work and there's money. And then these people run their businesses and these people do this. And these people make money. And then the government makes more money. People don't understand, like when you bring in another person, that's another taxpayer. That's another taxpayer. What's wrong if we bring 700 million people in the country? Have 1 billion people in the country. We have space. We have a lot of property. We can absolutely do it. Maybe not 1 billion, but bring in 500 million. Bring in 700 million. America was built on immigration. We were never an isolationist country. We should never be an isolationist country. We have the resources. We could do it, but why should we? America needs to be involved. Anyway, back into the 50-year mortgages. Basically, what I read here is if you buy a $400,000 home with 10% down, and the interest rate right now is 6.25, if I'm not mistaken, the interest rate over 50 years would be $816,000 versus $438,000 over 30 years. So now it's a very stupid idea, right? People are like, this is terrible. This is terrible. Now I'm with you. Interest rate is up. You're paying almost double the interest rate. But think of it this way. Right now, the mortgage on that house would be around $2,283. That's what it says here. That from what I've read here, 50-year mortgage would be $2,035 a month, and then 30 years, $2,300 a month. Fair. You're only paying $264 less. But you're paying almost double on the interest rates. Firstly, $200 does add up over 50 years. Holy, that adds up. Over 30 years. But more people are eligible to get their housing. And people have been here who are paying rent and they just want to own a home. Of course, by the time you get the home, but like right now, let's say you're 20 years old and you're going to do a 50-year mortgage, you're going to be 70 years old. And then you'd finally have paid off the house. I'm with you. But, I mean, let's talk about this from a financial standpoint. You're not just going to pay monthly every single month, save up a little bit of money, and then put it in the home. Yes, of course, it's stupid with the interest rates, but not if you catch the interest rates. Not if you pay off your home early. And that's what a lot of people, I haven't been hearing people talk about that, because that is a possibility. You could do that. I think that it has its benefits and it's bad. As an investment, it's not the smartest thing ever. But as an investment, I'm telling you, if you have millions of dollars in the bank, why would you even want to finance a home? Just buy it outright or put in 50% down instead of 10% down. It's a different story with that. But for the middle class people who have been paying the rent for they've been paying $2,500 rent or $2,700 rent, dude, finance a home, 2.5K for 50 years. I mean, you're already going to be paying rent for that long anyway. That's for the middle class owners. I mean, you'll eventually own it, which is the good part. You'll eventually own it. And if you put enough money in, you could own it earlier. That's the benefit that you can get out of that. And then another thing they proposed was the portable interest rates. So let's just say, for example, you had a 3% interest rate on your home when you bought it 20 years ago. And now it's 6%. It's 6% interest rate, right? 6.25. Let's just say, for example, you wanted to buy a house. You can basically, that 3% will stay when you get the next house. So it won't go to 6.25. It won't be the market. It won't be the market interest. It'll be your own interest from back before. So that encourages homeowners before to buy another home. Or even better, they buy their home under them, have their kids live there. And once that happens, there's going to be more demand of building houses, because the problem is builders are not building. They're only building the big houses, the 7-bedroom apartments, the 10-bedroom houses, the mansions, because there's no incentive for people to build 1-bedroom homes, 2-bedroom, 2-bedroom homes, 3-bedroom homes. They have to build 4 and above. So you need to incentivize builders to build homes that are 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom and 1-bedroom and such. And there has to be a demand for housing. There has to be a demand for more homes. That's the problem. Be honest with yourself. America has a lot of people, and if I'm not mistaken, we have $4 million. Let's just search this up right now. 4 million. What's the housing crisis in America? We have a shortage of 4.7 million homes in the United States. 4.7 million homes. We need more homes. We need more demand for people to buy homes. Now, interest rate plays a big part in that, but also it's like a chain, guys. It's a chain. More people are available for homes. Starts trickling down. The demand, interest rates, everything plays right into the factor, and now we have more homes. I'm 19. I want to eventually own a home, but how could I own a home when everything is so expensive? When I feel like, I have to wait on the interest rate to go down. How long am I going to wait? Everything, cost of living is so expensive these days, and it's too much. It's too much. The income is not catching up with the inflation at all. So that's exactly why Mamdani even won in the first place. That's why Mamdani won. It's because people are sick and tired of not having affordable housing. So when he promised affordable housing, of course people wanted to vote for him. Same thing Trump promised. That's what Trump promised back in 2016. What he promised here in 2024. Where is it? Where is the money? Where is the money that is being invested into the United States? Where is it gone? What jobs has it created? This month has been one of the worst months for Donald Trump's for Donald Trump's administration. The jobs have been horrible. The employment rate has been going up. Unemployment rate, everything has been going up. Prices have been horrible. So, tell me, where is all that money going? Trillions of dollars that were invested into the United States. I was the first person like, that's amazing for the country. Everyone was saying that's amazing for the country. Amazing. Create jobs, create this, create that. Where? Where is it? Let it down. Let it down into the market. That's what we need. And the problem is, a lot of that stuff will take time. That's what a lot of people say. A lot of stuff will take time. Okay, but we need short-term solutions as well. People are starving here. We had one of the longest government shutdowns. And whether you say it's Democratic or Republican or whatever, it doesn't matter. We had one of the longest shutdowns in America. Sorry, it is the longest one. So people are starving here in the streets. There's no work. There's no money. No one's eating. So yes, there is a problem. And especially for us in the young generation, what are we going to do? Now, I think the future looks bright completely. I think the 2026 is going to be a great year. Everything is going to go great. I think so. I'm a big believer in that. I'm a very optimistic person. But guys, like, we need this now. He said on day one, reduce this, reduce that, reduce that. I'm waiting on it. Everyone's waiting on it. And a lot of people believed in you. A lot of people. And we all did. And we said, you know what? Yes, we voted you in. You you won the popular vote. You won every swing state. You did a complete sweep. But we're waiting. We need that money to come down. We need to thrive again. America needs to be great again. Dare I say it. It's been a year. Almost a year. The employment's high. And it's only going to get higher. You know why it's only going to get higher? Because of AI. Now, I have a very different point of view with AI. I have a very different view of AI. I think it's actually net positive for society. And let me tell you why before you relax. AI is going to replace the bad jobs. It's going to replace all the bad jobs. All the jobs that are like in McDonald's, factories, little stupid stuff. Now everybody's saying, okay, but that's horrible for jobs. Well, let me tell you something. Do you know what invention replaced 7 million jobs here in America? It was the tractor. The tractor. When they created the tractor, 7 million jobs were replaced. Now you might be saying, holy, they shouldn't have made the tractor. No. It's about being more efficient. It's about creating new things and creating more opportunities. So when people didn't have to work in the farms anymore, now they work in offices. Now they do data. Now they do technology. Then you find time to do other things rather than just worrying about surviving. There's always going to be better jobs. That's the thing. There is going to be better jobs in here in America and everywhere, honestly. I mean, if you're in China, they're already adapting to it. They're already adapting to the change. So we cannot hold ourselves back as a humanity just because of jobs. Trust me, job openings will open up, especially if you have talent. If you have talent, the market will pick you up. So now instead of you having to do all these dummy jobs, now you're the director of AI. Especially if you know how to use AI. I'm telling you right now, there will be companies from now on are going to look for people who use AI, not people who don't. It's a flex to be able to know how to talk to AI. It's a flex to be able to talk to it so it can give you something, information, so then you can use, rather than just coming up with it on your own. I'm sure it's impressive if you come up with it on your own. It's impressive, completely impressive. But where does that get you? It takes too long. Maybe it's not as good. It's not as efficient. And in today's world, if you're not as efficient and if you don't know how to adapt, you will fall behind. Every single time. Only the adaptable survive. It's not about being the strongest. It's about being the most adaptable. So yes, AI will take over jobs. And let it take over jobs. Why? Why stop it? Why stop it from taking jobs when you can open up a new opportunity for yourself? I know Elon and Sam Altman and all the tech gurus are saying that everyone's job is going to be replaced in 20 years, and that's probably true. But we have always adapted. We have always adapted every single time. And believe it or not, I mean, there's been a wave of inventors and innovation and entrepreneurs. Every single day we get this new product, this new invention, this new cure, this new this. I mean, it's too much. It's too fast. Don't get me wrong. But it has its good. I mean, soon enough, we're going to be on Mars. The truth is, the world is so unpredictable now. It's kind of scary. Don't you think? It's very unpredictable. Like, you don't know where we're going to be in 5 years. You don't know. It's going to be very interesting. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. So good talking to you guys. Thank you if you've listened all the way through here. I will see you guys soon on episode 2 coming up very, very, very soon. I don't know when, but very soon. A lot of news have been going on, guys. So it's been crazy. Anyway, see you guys, and talk